Hello, this is Jamie Magritte. Welcome to Jamie's Craft Table. Today I'm going to show you how I made this card. So let's get started. I'm using a couple Stampin' Up markers. I'm using Granny Apple. I might not need this one. This is Pacific Point, but I'm using a blender brush and a blender pen. I'm using the vintage bottle punch, Tahitian Tide, and gray granite ink. Wonderful World is the stamp set from Celebration. I'm using this die here from the Sending Dies, and this Sentiment Hello from Forever Fern. You need a bow tied from the gray granite shimmer ribbon, a scrap of Designer Series paper that's wide enough to fit in your punch, a scrap of white Designer Series paper to stamp your sentiment on, and big enough so you can use this die to cut it out with, a 5/8 by 4 1/8 or 4 1/4 inch piece of gray granite, a 2.5 by 5 inch piece of white, 3 3/4 by 4 1/4 inch piece of gray granite, a 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 inch piece of the Designer Series paper. And the Designer Series paper is one of the Celebration offers. It's that gold and where's the label? Silver and gold 6x6 specialty paper. It's got the stripe and the polka dot in both gold and silver. Okay, then I have a 5.5 by 4 1/4 inch piece of gray granite, and my card base, which is thick, which is 5.5 by 8.5 scored and folded at 4 1/4. Okay, let's put these pieces aside. There's one other thing you're going to need, and that's an embossing folder. I don't have it here. This particular one I used is retired. This was the Subtles embossing folder. So this one I think I'm going to try a different one. Let's try the Timber 3D embossing folder. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and do my stamping first. That's for the sentiment. Okay, all right, let's do the stamping first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a Tahitian Tide. Move these out of the way. I'm going to try to just ink up the flowers at the top. Okay. Then I'm going to bring in the blending brush, blender pen it's called, and I'm going to use this to erase this blue ink off of the stem here. Excuse the noise, but the neighbors building a door on their basement. They're refurbishing the house. So okay, then you're going to take I just threw out my scratch paper, so let me bring one in. Just scribble it off until it runs clear. You need to take off more. Okay. And I don't think I need the blue, but I did take a little bit off over here. This is just to make sure that, and I just want to add just a little bit here and there since I added a little so it doesn't look, because it's not the same color. I don't have a marker in that color. And then the green. I'm going to color the stem with the side of your brush so you don't fray the tip. Just on those stems. This one's pretty juicy, so works pretty well. And I'm going to add just, I see a little bubble here that's annoying me, so add just a little bit. You could use your markers to color the stamp completely if you wanted to. Okay, then I'm just going to breathe on it. And I'm going to stamp this up towards the top of this 2.5 by 5 inch strip. Maybe about an inch or so from the bottom. I want my stems to be a little bit centered, but more towards the left side. That's pretty good. Not perfect, but okay. Done with this color. Put that away. Let's bring in our scrap white. Stamp our sentiment in gray granite. I'm just going to stamp it close to the center. I want it a little bit closer on that end, so I'm just going to stamp it, okay? And I'm going to bring in this die. Go ahead and put it over it. I'm going to use these Post-it notes. Hold it down. I'm going to go and run that through. Let's just bring it over. I need to flip the plate. There's our sentiment strip. Put this die away so I don't lose it. Alright, now this gray piece is going to need embossed. Go ahead and put it in here. I think I want the texture to go this way though. So I'm going to run that through. I don't have the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I just have my Big Shot. But let's go ahead and put this through. Oops, I don't need these, do I? This is a 3D one, so just gotta make sure it's in there well. I think that'll work. All right. Now let's assemble this card. Bring in our piece. I had stamped another one in case this one didn't come out very well, but I'll just go ahead and use this one. There's a couple little spots in there that aren't real stamped well, but I can't find my sample. My extra piece disappeared. So we'll just go with this. Okay. Well, I'm going to start by adhering the gray granite layer to the front of the card. I'm going to use wet glue. course, it's not coming out. Get a new one out. Line that up with the front of the card. Alright, I'm going to add the designer series paper on top of that. Okay, this piece is going to go here. Which side do I want up? I think I want that side up. Both sides look amazing, and it's about 3/4 of an inch from the top. Okay. Oh, I forgot a step. I'm going to bring in this piece here and our punch. We're going to punch this bottle. Okay. We're going to bring in our blue blending brush, tahitian hide ink. I'm going to get a little on there, and I'm going to blend just the edges of the bottle, around the edges. It doesn't need to be dark, just want a little bit so it doesn't look white on the against white. And you don't really need to do the top because we're going to cut that off. There they are. Just below where it starts to curve, where it stops curving, I'm just going to cut that top off. Okay, go ahead. Alright, I'm going to bring in my rag, wipe the sink off my desk so I don't get it somewhere I don't want it. Alright, now I'm going to bring in a bone folder. I'm going to give this a gentle curve, just gentle. Turn that over. Bring in a dimensional. Put a dimensional in the center. Take those backs off. This is going to go here. That's your the vase for your flowers. Whoops, don't stick yet. Like that. Now I took the scrap, got a little bit of glue on it, and I just went under this edge, stuck the edges down. Throw that scrap right in the trash so it doesn't get in anything. Okay, so there's our little bottle. It looks curved. Alright, we need a glue dot for the bow. It's going to go right here at the top of the vase. Alright, Put dimensionals on the back of this. That's going to go right here. About 1/4 of an inch, a little bit more on this side. And then we're going to put this part together. This strip is 5/8 by 4 1/4. Our sentiment's just going to get adhered directly to that. Let's see. Center it. We're going to cut off the ends, perhaps. We'll put dimensionals on the 2 ends. Go ahead and put that over the top of our vase. Right like that. There we go. There's our card. Let's step it up just a little bit. Bring in some bling. Let's bring in the glossy dots and add a couple of those. Oops. Come on. Gonna get a little bit more. Just turn it. It starts to come out. Sticky stuff. There we go. Well, thank you so much for joining me today at Jamie's Craft Table. I hope you have a great rest of your day. I hope you can find a little bit of time to play with some stamps, ink, and paper. Oh, and this one is Balmy Blue. I thought I'd try it with a Tahitian tide. It's a little brighter. Well, thanks for joining me today, everybody. Have a great one.